Steve Moore. Hey, thank you so much. There's a person up here. I know it's weird in these flat rooms. There's just sound coming out. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. That is, I've been saying this every night because magically with Earth fans at Earth shows, this happens because we're obviously the best people. And so we listen, you listen so well, and I'm so grateful. It's terrifying actually when a room full of talking, chilling, hanging out people in a bar suddenly get quiet, all because of something you did, which isn't, you know, like, anyway. Okay, I'm not gonna say anything crass. Anyway, okay, did I say this? My name is Steve Moore. I go by STEBMO in these kind of situations where I'm playing music. And yes, I am here. So grateful that you're here. And I'm so grateful to Dylan Carlson, to my other friends in Earth for having me here, for letting me do this, for letting me open the shows and play music for you guys. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And it's okay, we don't have to clap at everything I said. I'm going to talk a bit here, but
you can't stop us.
That's right, yeah. And the secret, which is probably maybe not a secret, I have no idea honestly, but I'm in the band, so there's that. And so that's how I got the gig. It's nepotism, familiar relations, and as I've said, if you would like the gig, you just have to join Earth for 20 years, and then you can apply for this opening
like a
gig.
sign-up sheet?
It's very complicated. Yeah, I don't actually remember how it works. It's been so long for me. Yeah, I think it was a different time. Anyway, we are here, as you probably know. We're celebrating this album that we made a little over 20 years ago. It's the 20th anniversary of this album called Hex. We're out here playing it once more. I believe in a way for a final time. You know, everywhere we go. It's not the last time tonight, but it's getting there. We're getting towards the end of this, and it's been a beautiful. This is our third tour doing the Hex stuff this year, and it's been really wonderful for me to reunite with the band after 10 years or so doing other stuff, and coming back. It's given me a really great opportunity to reflect on what it's meant to be a part of the band and how the music of Earth has changed the way that I think about music and about life in general. So I've taken a little bit of my time to sort of talk about that, which is what I'm going to do now. I know at first it was like maybe I would not talk at all, and now you're like, oh shit, is he never going to play music again? But it'll happen, and yeah, so I would like to talk about this just a little bit. I remember so well the first day that I went into the studio. I was actually unfamiliar with Earth as a band. Even though I lived in Seattle, I was such a ding-dong, I didn't know. And I went into the studio, put on the headphones, went to go play the trombone, and was like, what in the hell is this? I had no idea. It actually kind of blew my mind. It really did. And I got through the day, thankfully. It was, maybe I did a couple of days, I don't remember anymore, but lucky for me, the album worked well in the end, and I was able to join the band and spent many years traveling the world, playing shows with Dylan and Adrian and our other friends in Earth, and experiencing this thing that you're all here tonight to experience. You are already aware of what's going on, what we're going to get up to, a bit of a worship service of tone and sound. And yeah, so it's a bit of a cliche to say that music is like a language, but at the same time, that's a cliche for a reason. It kind of works. Music is much deeper than language, than the spoken language. It's not this sort of one-to-one correspondence like you might find in a dictionary. It's actually much more fundamental and hits you at a root level, sound and tone. And I'm not talking about music with lyrics here, I'm talking about sound itself. And this musical language, this thing, it's surrounding us as listeners, as performers, we're listeners as well. We sit at the center of this thing, and it's kind of happening on two sides, even though it's this sort of circular phenomenon. It's a bit hard to describe it in these two sides way, but on the one side, it's happening slower than you. These regular temporal patterns, these oscillations, they're happening slower than you. And by slower than you, I mean they're distinctly separated, like night and day, or winter, spring, summer, and fall, something like this, or closer to us, this kind of thing, okay? And in music we call this rhythm. So that's the one side, okay? Slower than you, rhythm. And as these rhythmic oscillations speed up, they cross over this mysterious boundary inside of ourselves. And the only way to describe that then is as faster than you. And that's where these definitively discontinuous oscillations like night and day become seemingly continuous. And in music we call this phenomenon pitch or harmony. And so we have these two domains, slower than you and faster than you. And on the faster than you side, this pitch and harmony side, there is this distinct phenomenon which is somewhat, you could say, the birthplace of music, and it's called the harmonic series. If you took physics class, they might have called it the natural modes. And it's easy enough to describe, actually, that I'm going to try to do it here in a bar. Any resonant body possesses this, okay? And in a sense, you're a resonant body. But in this case, we'll talk about musical instruments like a guitar or a trombone, which I'll play later tonight. If I were to put energy, say, to pluck a guitar string, immediately that guitar string starts to vibrate, to oscillate. And the first thing it does is it becomes the first mode of this thing, the harmonic series. It becomes one big wave. From one side, there's a positive oscillation, all the way to the other side, and then there's a negative oscillation coming back. And this energy is contained within this system. And I should say, just a quick aside about this, we have 5 senses, okay? Touch, taste, and smell, those 3 are tactile, meaning you have to come into contact with the object of your apprehension. So, I can touch this microphone. Heaven forbid, I could taste it if I were to lick it.
Do it.
And in certain clubs, you can definitely smell these microphones. Not here, thankfully. Okay, but then the 2 other senses, they are sort of magical. They are sense at a distance. You're apprehending something far away. So for example, the guitar or the trombone, when I put this resonant energy into it, the air between the end of the trombone or the end of the guitar is being vibrated and traveling to your ears. And your eardrums, they don't hear the air rustling against your hair or against your ear. They hear the guitar or the trombone. So they're distinct in this way, these 2 senses at a distance. Okay, back to the harmonic series. We've got this energy sitting in there, this string. So it's sort of this happens the same with the air and the trombone. It's forming a standing wave, this oscillation, and this one big wave. And if I add more energy to it, that string then breaks not into, say, just a little bit more, not into 1.1 or 1.5 waves or something like this. It goes automatically from one big wave into 2 waves. And these 2 waves are half the size, twice as fast. And then if I put yet more energy in, the 2 waves become 3. And 3 become 4, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to infinity. You can understand this. And these different standing waves then possess these different properties. So this is not going to be all chatter. I would like to demonstrate this for you on the trombone quickly if I can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! I know. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here, this is the big boy, the one wave, okay, the fundamental. So as I said, where I blow into the trombone here, positive oscillation travels all the way down the trombone to some mysterious place here at the end, the bell, and then it turns around, the negative oscillation returns to my face, I guess. And then as I put more energy into it, we'll see what happens. So here's the one wave, the big oscillation. is, the big one. Okay, now I'll do it again. I'll put just a little bit more energy into it, and you'll hear what happens when it breaks into two waves. It doesn't go gently or gradually. That's the word I'm looking for. It doesn't do this. It does this. Counting along, then that was the first 8 steps of the harmonic series. And you folks, obviously, being the smartest people in New York State, being here tonight, you can kind of hear what's going on. In music, we call this the major chord. And a little something else, but anyway, we won't talk about that. Yeah. So this is the major chord. So you can already hear where this harmonic series, this natural phenomenon that you're physiologically predisposed to notice and be interested in, contains this quality that we call music. And you can imagine an ancient people camped out by a marsh somewhere, maybe not far from here. And at the edge of the marsh, there were some reeds growing, like some bamboo-like object. Some of them get old and brittle and die, and they get broken off. And at the top, then the wind would blow across, and this harmonic series exists there too. It exists everywhere in all of nature. Of course, this is how human beings discovered music, or discovered, what do you want to say? Okay. Now, you might have noticed, if we go back to the first two, these two notes. One is definitely higher, and one is definitely lower. But as people, we say they're the same note. They have this quality of sameness. In music, we call it an octave. And it's just kind of this mysterious thing. It's like, it's not weird until you think about it, kind of thing. And this is the first and the most important thing to know about the harmonic series, this doubling and halving quality and this sameness, this octave quality. This is a fundamental aspect of it. So we call this the powers of 2. Okay, and that's because 2 to the whatever, 2 to the 0 is 1 for some reason. Yeah. Anyway, and it goes like this. So these fundamentals, this 1 and 2, and then 2 and 4, and so on, they all have this quality. They sound the same. So powers of 2. I'm talking 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, Nintendo 64.
Whoa.
It's what the computer chips are doing. But more importantly, maybe a way to think about it, it's what a cell might do. If you had a single cell, and that single cell splits into 2, and then the 2 cells into 4, and the 4 into 8, and then the 8 into 16, and so forth. And we do this with music. We hear this sound, and our instinctual response, our first movement, is to kind of identify this as the sound itself. We've identified the selfness in the sound. And if we're extending our metaphor a little bit of music as a language, you might think of song as a story. And in the story, the key of the song here, in this case, we think of this as kind of this main character, this narrator, this home base. We identify with it as we're listening to the song, as we would when we're reading a story. Okay, so that's the 1 property, this powers of 2 in the harmonic series, very important. But there are other numbers. There's only 2 things to know about the harmonic series. Powers of 2, you're halfway there. The other one, I'll let the cat out of the bag, is the prime numbers. So let's check out a prime number on the trombone. Start again with the big boy. That note is just different. It's definitely different. It's higher than the other one. We wouldn't say it's the same note, right? This 3, it's this prime difference in the universe. It's different from the self. And in this way, having identified the self of the sound, we've now encountered this otherness. We've encountered the other. We started with the self, and now we found the other. Now I'm going to switch demonstration instruments to this here toy Casio, which maybe you had as a child, or your parents did. And it's a great thing. So it takes a little sample, and in order to play the sample along this piano-like keyboard, it has to speed it up and slow it down in a way where we can start to understand this harmonic series property, which is very obvious in the faster than you pitch domain. We can start to understand how it relates to the rhythmic domain, the slower than you domain. So give me a moment to get a sample. Not bad, right? Okay, so here's the big boy again. Let's check this out. Now this is going to be a speed and a note. Okay. And then, here's what the second harmonic is doing. You can hear this twice as fast, half the size. And as I said then, when we come across the prime numbers, then we find the other. So let's hear what that sounds like. And this brings us really to the point of my whole talking about this. I find our natural predilection for this, our interest in music and tonality, to be very hopeful for us as a species. That's because the first thing we do in this story, we've identified ourselves, and now we've come across the other. I am 2. And I've now found the other in 3. And the first thing that we do as humans, that I do, and I know that you do too, because you like music, is we say, what if I was the 3? Then what? And really, that procedure right there that we do so naturally, the only way to describe that is as empathy, which I know is taking a hit, apparently, as a word somehow. I don't find it to mean any kind of weakness or lacking of intelligence. It's quite the opposite, actually. It's our strength as a species, and it's a sign of extremely high intelligence. So I'd like to demonstrate a little bit about what that sounds like, okay? So, here's our little buddies, me and the other thing. I'm the 2, here's the 3. It's just me. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, in order to find find out how I'm the 3, I can't change the speed of this particular note, but I let out a little bit more line, so that'd be something like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And the beautiful thing is, I don't really have to describe that last part too much to you. That's just music now. That's what we're doing. I find that natural response, that curiosity about the other, to be so hopeful for us as a species. In addition to empathy, it's a type of growth. You see, I went from 2 to 3 in order to accommodate this thing that I hadn't met before, this 3-ness. And I found a way to sort of integrate an understanding of itself, and thereby growing my understanding even more. And then of course there's more options for otherness to discover there. And on it goes. And this is our experience, our metaphysical experience as beings. Every day we wake up as ourselves again. We try again with the memory of yesterday. And we stack these on top of each other, these octaves of experience in our existence. And this is a beautiful thing. And I bring it up now with all of you. I think it's worthwhile to do, because I think if there's one thing that we can all agree upon, it's that we need a different reason to live for at this point. But we can't quite put our finger on what it is. It's not the sort of lengthening of the timeline or the lengthening of the rope with which we're hanging ourselves, you know, electric cars, nuclear fission or something like this. And maybe that would be cool, I don't know. And I think that music is pointing a little bit at this thing, this mystery about ourselves, this way we're designed, and we appreciate it, but we kind of use it nicely behind commercials and on movies and to sell alcohol, which I'm all for all of that. I'm not above any of it. Do all of that stuff. But I think music is pointing maybe in this direction, this mysterious direction of some other way that we could be. But I want to pop the balloon just briefly and right away and say we're not going to figure it out tonight. Yeah, that's right. None of us are going to figure it out in our lifetimes, and that's okay. We should make peace with that. Because if we don't, we're liable to make some decisions that have some terrible unintended consequences. But if I can ask anything of anyone, which I don't know that I'm worthy of that, but if I can ask anything of you and of myself, it would just simply be that we take care to make space for this idea, for this mysterious, we don't know way of being, this way of understanding resonant oscillations in the universe, which, you know, I'm talking about here in this small zone, what I call the Paleolithic preschool, but it, you know, of course extends all the way to the depths of the cosmos, and we know now it extends all the way down to the very structure of matter itself, like the periodic table of elements. We have some sort of special predisposition for this time thing, this understanding of time. And so, if we all could individually then just make space for this idea, take care to sweep off the psychic sidewalk that is your own, the space in front of your little world, And on your way to the exits, if you could lay down a welcome mat, something like this, then maybe your children or your neighbor's children might see that welcome mat, that space for that idea, and then frame out a doorway around this welcome mat. And then the children's children, they might start to frame out the walls. And a few generations later, 3, 4, 5, something like this, they've built a schoolhouse, they start to put a little roof on top. And maybe 7 generations down the line, a teacher comes along. And that teacher can help those people figure out what the heck is going on, a way that we can be healthily, that we can fit in with nature in the way that we believe that we should as a special creature. And that will all be because we simply made the space that was possible. That's the necessary ingredient. That's the seed for this thing. I have this friend who, he passed away, but he used to say this thing. I don't actually know what he meant by it, but I stole it. He used to say, is it cancer or is it the answer? And I think it was just a cool rhyme that he did. I don't know. But I like it because I think it points out the 2 modes that human beings operate in. We believe that we are the answer. We feel this special quality of ourselves. We like to think we're separated from nature and the animals and so forth. But for the most part, we kind of behave en masse like a cancer on the planet. That's okay, we understand this. And music is pointing at this thing. When I was younger, the debate was between religion, do you believe in God or the Bible and so forth, and science, I guess, like evolution or something. I don't know, they were still working on that one. And I was raised going to church. I'm a religious person. I have these kind of beliefs, they're built into me. But I also went to school. My mom was a teacher, and I was raised scientifically. I believe in science as well. And I think you could dedicate your entire life to a spiritual practice. You could go to the ashram and work every day for many, many years. And at some point down the line, you might arrive at a point of great clarity, deep insight, and be able to speak with well-earned authority on the nature of reality. And I believe in this. I think it's a good thing. And likewise, I think you could dedicate your entire life to science, and you could work your way up, you know, bachelor's degree, whatever comes after that. I didn't go to college. Master's degree, PhD, so on and so forth. You could go and live at the Hadron Collider. And you could spend so much time there doing the experiments that you actually spoke the language of the atoms. And my God, that must be beautiful. I believe that you could, from that vantage point then, also speak with well-earned authority on the nature of reality. But if you step back, for most of us regular people, we've got jobs and bills and problems, romances and cars to repair and whatever. We've got shit to do. We can't be that deep in the game. And so in that sense, they offer us the same story. They say, take my word for it. I have spent the time, and I know, and you should take my word for it and do what I say. They're asking you to accept something on faith. They're both doing this, in a sense. One sort of explicitly, the other without saying it directly. But music is coming to you in this third way. Okay, and this is what I'm asking of you in a sense too. That music is something you can engage with personally, and that's why you're here tonight. You're engaging with it. That's what we do together. It doesn't matter if you're the listener or the performer. The music's what's happening between us. And you could take up an instrument, which I think you should, and you would find these things to be true that I'm talking about tonight. You could throw it in the garbage, run over it with the car, light it on fire, give up on it 1,000 times, which I've done over and over and over again, and it will always be there for you. And this is something you can know with a capital K. So rather than asking you to accept something on faith, it's offering you something to grab hold of and go forth into the world knowing, having faith in this thing. And I must say that for my life, this has acted as a very powerful ground floor, which again and again I can go down and touch. It's not bottomless. The universe is full of love and care for us. And that's that ground floor there. And as I said, you're here tonight. You're a pre-selected group of people. You've self-selected into this. You understand what we're doing. Tonight, as I said, Earth, we're holding a bit of a worship service for this thing, sound and tone. And we're so grateful that you're here. This whole time I've been trying to find like a punchline to end this thing on, because I know I seem pretty serious, but I'm actually a serious smartass. And normally I could do this, but I guess this is actually very sincere what I'm saying to you. And so I'm so grateful that you're here at this, I guess, rock and roll show, putting up with this, listening to me talking like this for so long. So I'm going to close out there with that and just say thank you so much for listening. I'm going to play one more song. This song is called Happy Ending, and it's off of one of my CDs that's back there. And then we're going to take a short break to smoke a couple of cigarettes and make a drink. And then Earth is going to come back and we're going to play Hex for you. And it's going to be a beautiful night. And it's because of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you. we wrap this up to play next to you. Thank